Sage Delacroix kept the neon sign above the door of the Oxbow lit an hour before opening. She liked the silence that accompanied the honey-colored emptiness of polished wood, upside-down glassware, and the ancient jukebox that only worked when slapped twice on the side. Silence, though, was relative. Other bartenders brewed coffee first thing. Sage cooled her nerves with dulcet chaos no one else could hear. The first whisper drifted from the front stools like steam off fresh whiskey. Ginger highball, dash of guilt. Not a real order. The doors were still locked. It was the remorse of a delivery guy biking past, wondering whether he should have tipped the clerk who fixed his punctured tire. These quiet confessions, all phrased like cocktail requests, had haunted Sage since she was 9. She'd tried to drown them with music, meditation, and once even stuffing napkins into her ears. Nothing turned them off. At 4:30 she unlocked the door, and Oxbow's regulars trickled in. The voices strengthened, braided together in invisible harmonies. Out loud, someone asked for a lager. Beneath, another current voiced, "Rusty nail, easy on the shame." That was old Pete, forever sorry he'd left his sister's wedding early 10 years ago. Sage poured the beer, added a genuine smile that made Pete blink, and slid the glass across. Evening thickened. City dusk reflected off bottles like trapped sunsets. The bar television muttered sports statistics, but Sage barely registered them. Instead, she sorted the whispers around her with the practiced movements of a maestro conducting overlapping symphonies. A new, sharper presence entered around 7. He was nondescript, pressed khakis, slate jacket, tidy beard. Pleasant, if generic face. When he sat, the leather cushion sighed like it recognized him. His real voice said, "Scotch neat." His subconscious slipped underneath, sly as vermouth. C4 spritzer, time delay fuse, keep it quiet. Sage nearly dropped the bottle. The man sipped unconcerned. Rationally, she'd caught stray violent thoughts before, intrusive fantasies, unacted fears, but the wording of his subconscious order carried professional crispness. This wasn't idle imagination. She leaned on the bar. "Traveling through?" she asked, casual. "Business conference," he answered, referring to the downtown convention center, 8 blocks away. His mental whisper sharpened. 4 sites, buses, concourse, underground. A cold ribbon slid down Sage's spine. To test, she refilled his glass unasked. His subconscious murmur reacted. "Don't attract attention, stay gray." That settled it. He wasn't speculating. He was rehearsing. Sage's gift, curse really, never let her read entire paragraphs, only distilled phrases shaped like drink instructions. But she could decode enough. Someone planned multiple bombs, maybe coordinated for tomorrow when the convention center would be crammed with visitors. An older woman dropped onto the next stool. "Sauvignon Blanc," she said. Her hidden voice bubbled. "No survivors fizz, fireworks at noon, blame security." It complemented the man's thoughts like a matching garnish. These two were part of the same plot. Sage moved automatically, uncorking the wine while her heartbeat hammered. She needed a plan. The city's tip line operators had dismissed her once before when she'd tried to warn them about a shooter she'd overheard. "Ma'am, are you saying you heard him admitting it?" the dispatcher had asked. "No, I heard his subconscious." Click, they hung up. Since then, Sage had vowed never to involve the authorities without proof. Tonight, proof meant more voices. By 8:30, she'd counted 5 conspirators, 2 women, 3 men, scattered at different tables. None interacted openly, but their mental orders toasted one another in a sinister liturgy. Nitro sidecar, remote sparkler. Flashbang martini, frame bartender with garnish. Public fear sour with a media twist. The last phrase punched her chest. Frame the bartender. Her, presumably, because Oxbow lay within evacuation radius of both the bus depot and the light rail tunnels. The thought slid through their group mind like a proposal ratified by collective nods. It even carried a suggestion. If she warns anyone she's an accessory, tie it to her. Sage wiped her palms on a bar towel. She considered simply closing early, but they'd left no openings. The bombs were already planted, or so their whispers implied. Stopping them would require more drastic movement. A rainstorm lashed windows, granting momentary privacy as thunder drowned external noise. That was when two more currents intruded, not from patrons, but from somewhere deeper, older, voices she'd lived with all her life. Most people's subconscious arrived as single notes. Sage's came as dueling commentators, call them echo and reverb. Echo encouraged caution, reverb loved chaos. They almost never agreed. Echo, you have to alert someone, lives matter. Reverb, they'll blame you, save yourself, pretend you heard nothing. For once, both voices found overlap. Echo, even if you warn them, they'll still pin it on you. Reverb, exactly, best stay silent. The conspirators' plot anticipated her. She pictured headlines. Local bartender tips off police, found with detonators. Ordinary evidence would be easy to plant. Wires in her stockroom, a timer in her purse. She was a perfect scapegoat, solitary, quirky, no family to vouch for her gift. She poured herself water, though she craved bourbon. Alcohol fuzzed the whispers. She needed clarity. One by one, the conspirators closed tabs and left, as if hearing a silent bell. The bearded man lingered last. When he slid his card through the reader, his hidden chant concluded, 12 p.m. ignition, casualties optimum, bartender tied in a bow. His real voice added, keep the change, with a polite nod. Sage watched him disappear into rain. 9:30 brought lull. Only 3 sports fans remained. Sage loaded the washer, stacked chairs, then locked the door at 10 on the dot. Normally, she'd decompress and sweep, but tonight she opened her laptop at the service end of the bar. She typed keywords. Bomb threat bus depot tomorrow. Conference center security. City hall suspicious packages. Nothing recent. She reached for her phone. Echo urged dialing 911. Reverb insisted on leaving town. Neither solution satisfied. Sage thought of an old friend, Guillermo Will Rojas, a local investigative reporter who'd once bought her free drinks after she'd tipped him to corruption at city sanitation. Information gleaned from remorseful whispers of an accountant who drank here. Will had believed in weird coincidences. Maybe he'd accept weirder truths. She called. He answered with a hum of newsroom chaos behind him. Will, it's Sage. I've got something big, mass casualty big. Tomorrow noon. Bus depot, convention center, maybe the tunnels too. A pause. Source? Can't say, but it's solid. Sage, I need more than hunches. She inhaled. 5 or 6 coordinated devices. They'll try blaming me if I talk, but I'm talking to you anyway. Another pause. Keys clacked. He was probably pulling up unsolved cases. All right, give me 15 minutes. Meet at the diner across from Oxbow. Make it fast, she urged. She killed the lights, grabbed her coat, stepped into wet midnight. Umbrella ribs bent in the wind as she jogged 2 blocks. At the diner's fluorescent warmth sat Will, trench coat glistening. He ordered coffee for both. Before he spoke a word, Sage caught his subconscious sip. Believe her, but verify. Protect her if real. Relief loosened her shoulders. She explained carefully, omitting the supernatural. They spoke at the bar about bombs, she said, half-truth. I overheard. Will's dark brows knit. Did you record them? He asked. No. Any names? She described the faces, clothing, approximate ages. Will jotted notes. Sage, this is thin. It's all I have, she whispered. He drummed fingers on the formica. All right. There's a press walkthrough at the convention center at 10 tomorrow. I'll get credentials and take you as assistant. If you can point someone out, we'll involve security. They might not show, she reminded him. Then we dig elsewhere. He sipped coffee, eyes sharp. And if they try to frame you, I'm witness you were with me. Lightning forked outside. Echo sighed with momentary optimism. Reverb stayed cynical. They parted after arranging to meet at 8 the next morning. Sage returned to her apartment above a shuttered florist. Sleep teased, then flitted away. Whispers from the streets floated through cracks. Lonely Manhattan, stirred. Regret Gimlet. Banal compared to tonight's wait. At 3 she dozed, dreamless. Morning air smelled of wet newspaper. Sage donned black slacks, a neat blouse, concealed one earbud pumping white noise. Legal muffling for rampant thoughts. She met Will outside the convention center's east entrance. Inside, banners flaunted the Renewable Futures Expo, a magnet for investors and bureaucrats. Noon would see keynote speeches and swallow thousands into the main hall. Will flashed his lanyard. They passed through magnetometers. Sage scanned crowds not just visually, but orally, letting mind orders slide past the earbud's soft hiss. Tourists desired mojito memories. Engineers muttered espresso of efficiency. Nothing sinister until a faint det cord daiquiri, 11:55, brushed her skull. She pivoted, spotted the tidy-beard man near concession stands, disguised now with glasses but same posture. She nudged Will. "That's one," she murmured. The conspirator's real voice chatted to a vendor while his mental drink continued. Link phone trigger, exit north stairwell. Will raised his camera phone, pretending to text, capturing photos. Any others? 2 more glimpses. The older woman from last night, now reading venue maps. A red-haired youth previously hidden by shadow, adjusting a janitor's cart. Their whispers overlapped. Bus depot mimosa, platform 3. Media popper, blame bartender found with cleaning cart. As they walked, Sage narrated quietly. Will listened, eyes skeptic but attentive. When they reached a less crowded corridor, he said, "Okay, I believe something's happening, but we still need tangible evidence." "Check the janitor's cart," she urged. "I can't just barge there. I'll distract." They returned. Sage approached the red-haired youth. "Excuse me, where's the nearest restroom?" she asked. He pointed wordlessly. His thoughts fizzed. She recognized me, Plan B. That alarmed her. She veered off, pretending to search for a sign. Will, seizing the moment, snapped open the cart's side pouch. Inside, a plastic lunchbox wired to a small phone. Timer displayed 12. Will's face blanched. He dropped the pouch flap and stepped away calm as possible. "That's enough evidence," he whispered. "We go to security now." But Redhair noticed. "Hey," he barked, accent flattening. Instantly, the older woman across hall reached for her purse. Tidybeard flicked a look. Sage caught their unanimous mental shout. "Frame sequence go!" Redhair lunged, knocking the cart sideways so the lunchbox slid out and skidded near Sage's shoes. Will reached to pull her back. Security guards at corridor's mouth snapped heads toward Clatter. "Bomb!" someone screamed, no telling if conspirator or bystander. Panic rippled. The older woman screamed too, pointing at Sage. "She dropped it!" Real voice loaded with fear. Subconscious sly. "Blame accepted sour." Security sprinted. Tidybeard grabbed Sage's elbow, twisting hard, as though restraining a suspect. "What did you do?" he yelled for show. His mind hissed, "Stay still or you die early." Will shoved him off. The guard trio arrived, guns half drawn. Sage raised hands. "I didn't." She cut herself off. Words were weapons now. Tidybeard spoke calmly. "I saw her dump that device." Older woman nodded fervently. Red hair moaned theatrically. "She asked me weird questions." Echo gibbered with terror. Reverb giggled, fascinated by framing in real time. A guard barked, "Step away, hands where we see." They cuffed Sage while another swept the lunchbox with a portable detector. Red blips flashed. Will protested, "I have video, he planted it." He waved his phone. A guard took it, but skepticism clung. Maybe they assumed accomplices. Sage felt cuffs bite. Whispered drink orders crashed in her skull from churning crowd. Adrenaline shot. Fear frappe. But the conspirators remained icy focused. Beardman's secret order. Detonate if necessary. Fallback bus depot. She had to force a stalemate. There are more bombs, she shouted at the guards. Bus depot, tunnels, noon! Shut up, a guard growled, pushing her along. Will pleaded. Check her phone location data. She was with me all morning. We called this in. But an earpiece squawked in the guard's ear. Explosive disposal units required. Procedure demanded taking the suspect to a holding chamber below. As they hustled toward service elevators, Sage's earbuds slipped. Voices intensified, dissonant, overlapping. Then a new channel she hadn't heard before broke through, crisp, no cocktail phrasing. Unit 2 relocate to depot. Execute early. She realized she was intercepting a radio. Actual, not psychic. But the line must belong to conspirators piggybacking on facility frequencies. Her strange ability tuned to undercurrents. Maybe electronics too, if emotionally charged. Regardless, it confirmed remote coordination. Sage twisted to Will. They're moving up the timeline. Depot now. Will's eyes widened. He turned to the guard leader. Did you hear that? Someone hijacking your radios. The guard hesitated. Chain of command flickered behind his eyes. He keyed shoulder mic. Control. Confirm Charlie channel secure. Static answered. Unease spread. Elevator dinged. They heard it inside. As doors closed, faint shouts echoed. More commotion near main hall. Beardman's plan activating. Sage acted. She flung herself sideways, slamming shoulder into red emergency stop paddle. Alarm bleated. Elevator jolted between floors. Guards cursed. One stepped forward to hit restart. Sage pivoted, raised cuffed wrists, and screamed, Rojas, floor panel! Will understood. He dropped, yanked the corner tile, lifting a maintenance hatch exposing cabling. He pulled the phone bomb video from his cloud backup, thrust it toward Ledguard's face. Look, the kid bumps the cart right after I examine it, clear as day. The footage displayed timestamp minutes before, showing red hair sliding device near Sage. Another scene caught Tidybeard pocketing something metallic. The lead guard's doubt deepened. Then Will played second clip he'd stealth uploaded. Older woman adjusting purse where wires peaked. Guards exchanged glances. Protocol collided with visible evidence. But the elevator emergency phone suddenly crackled with the conspirator's hijacked voice. Security breach. Suspect armed within elevator 4A. Lethal force authorized. The message attempted to manipulate them into executing her. Ledguard frowned. That's not our dispatcher, he muttered. He stepped back, radioing a private code. No answer. Comms compromised, he concluded, jaw tight. Finally, rationality prevailed. He unlocked Sage's cuffs. Miles, he ordered subordinate, escort Ms. Delacroix and Mr. Rojas to command post. Protect them. Turning to Sage, he added, Tell us everything. Elevator resumed. At mezzanine level, they exited into concrete corridor. Overhead speakers blared evacuation directive. Someone in real security had chosen caution. Sirens wailed. Crowds streamed toward exits. Emergency lights blinking red. In command, screens mapped facility cameras. Technicians scrambled to identify secondary devices. Sage funneled every mental whisper she could catch, converting cocktails into coordinates. Bus depot, platform 3. Tunnel ventilation shaft E6. Media van outside loading dock. She felt like a fevered sommelier rattling off cursed menus. Yet security teams raced according to her info, disabling packages one by one. Bomb squad at bus depot found suitcase with DEET cord disguised as lost luggage. Noon had not yet struck. Still, one whisper evaded location. Fireball finale, Jerry Garcia espresso. It belonged to Tidybeard, last seen slipping out during initial panic. Cameras lacked eyes on him. Then an alert. A maintenance vehicle had left via North Service Gate minutes earlier. Sage tasted gasoline in the thought. That's him, she said. Vehicle's the bomb. Over radio, patrol car pursued. At 11:57, a booming thud rolled across distance, outside city grid. They'd forced him to detonate prematurely in an industrial lot. Minimal damage. Operation neutralized. Aftershocks buzzed for hours. Statements, evidence collection, public briefings. Will's footage plus Sage's uncanny intel painted a compelling narrative. Authorities kept her gift off record, labeling her observant bartender, but among inner circles, whispers of her whispers spread. Near sunset, she returned to the Oxbow, exhaustion hanging heavy as bar towels. She unlocked door purely by habit, though patrons wouldn't come tonight. Broken routine comforted her. Soap scent of polished wood felt like home. Echo spoke first, gentle. You saved lives. Reverb chuckled, quieter than usual. Chaos averted, but they'll still wonder what you are. Sage poured herself a real drink at last, simple rye on rock. She toasted echoing glasses emptied in unseen dimensions. For years she'd resented the whispers. Tonight they had framed her, nearly destroyed her, yet also empowered her to stop worse from happening. Maybe that was balance. She sipped. Rain eased outside, neon humming steady. She imagined tomorrow when survivors would rush to forget, move on. She'd tend bar as always, translating guilt into gimlets, hope into hot toddies. And if one day new conspirators whispered murderous cocktails, she'd be ready again. A silent sentinel behind mahogany, listening to the drinks no one knew they ordered.